What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. Hope you're all doing very well. I am finally going to talk about my healer in Season 4, and I was going to do another sort of big reveal video, but I realized the last time I did this, it took like 20-some minutes, and I really don't want to do that to you guys again. So we're just going to cut right to the chase. I'm going to talk about what healer I am picking for Season 4 and why, and if you've been following the stream, it's going to be pretty obvious because I've been talking about it a lot, but it is, in fact, going to be Holy Paladin. I am going to be picking Holy Paladin as my main healer in Season 4. There's a lot of really good reasons for that, and I'm going to do some comparisons to, like, Holy Priest and Mistweaver Monk, which were the other really two big contenders. We're going to talk a little bit about those later, but I want to talk specifically about why I'm choosing Holy Pally, because it's important to understand, I think, each season what you guys want to pick and why I'm picking what I'm picking, because ultimately we're here to have fun, right? I think sometimes we forget about that. Sometimes I forget about it, where I'm like, I'm so caught up in the competition, my Raider.io, trying to get the best achievements that I can, trying to get as much gear as I can, and sometimes I think we do forget about just trying to have fun while you're playing this game. That's really what you're doing. I mean, you're paying monthly to play this game. You should really have some fun while you're doing it. So that's the biggest thing for me, is that I want every season I approach it and I think to myself, what can I do that's going to be new and interesting and potentially fun? Because I have played Mistweaver Monk this entire Season 3, like for the last 4 or 5 months straight. I don't even know how long Season 3 was, but it's felt like an eternity, okay? It felt like I've been playing Mistweaver Monk for my entire life. So I really am probably not going to pick Mistweaver Monk again just for that reason alone, because I've done hundreds and hundreds of dungeons. I've done the raids so many times, and I've done all the things that I can do on Mistweaver, and I don't need to do anymore. And it's just not going to be as much of a... It's not going to be as much fun in Season 4, particularly because they're getting the exact same tier set bonus that they have right now in Season 3. Mistweaver Monk's tier set bonus is not changing. So that's, like, very frustrating to me, because it's just not exciting. There's no real thing. There's no new thing to go get in the season anymore, because in Season 4, they're just rehashing all the old tier set bonuses. So if there had been a brand new tier set bonus, that would have dramatically changed, I think, my decision process here. But especially for Mistweaver Monk, I played so much of it in Season 3, I'm just not going to do it in Season 4. In terms of Holy Priest, they're also getting the same tier set bonus that they had in Season 3. That's actually a really good thing. I haven't dabbled in Holy Priest as much. Like, I didn't push it. It wasn't my main healer for the entire season. So that was a very serious option that I was considering. But they are just lacking a lot of the utility that I love about Holy Paladin, that I'm so excited to be bringing into Season 4. So that's the main reason I'm not bringing my Holy Priest, to be honest. They don't have a kick. It is such a big deal to have a kick in Mythic Plus as a healer. I just think it's really important. So they don't have a kick, and then they're lacking a bunch of the other utility that I'm going to talk about here. So number one, here's my big reasons why I'm picking Holy Pally. The very first and foremost thing, I'm going to get to utility in a second. I kind of jumped the gun on that one. But the first and foremost, the biggest thing is that it's going to be a challenge. This is not something that I have mained ever before, and I really want to main it in Season 4 and give it a really good shot. And right now, Holy Paladin has not been in the best place compared to a lot of the other healers, especially Mistweaver Monk, Disc Priest. It has just not been in as good of a place as those other healers. And certainly the discussion around Holy Paladin is that it's just, like, been really terrible. Like, people are like, this thing needs to be completely reworked. It's awful. I do not think it's in that bad of a state. And I'm going to spend, I think, a good chunk of Season 4 helping everybody understand how good Holy Paladin can actually be. Because, my God, I've been doing a bunch of keys on the PTR, and this thing absolutely pumps. Yes, the damage from this thing is a lot lower than other healers. That is something I'm going to work on. Personally, I'm going to try and make it so that I'm doing as much damage as I possibly can. I know that doesn't matter for a lot of healers. It's not required in really high Mythic Plus. I understand. We've had that discussion 100 times, so don't get me wrong there. I'm not saying you have to do damage as a healer, but I personally like doing damage as a healer. So it's something that I'm going to be looking to improve on as I move into Season 4 with Holy Paladin. I just really love the playstyle of Holy Paladin. I like melee healers. That's another reason why I want to play it. I really do enjoy that style of play. And again, it brings another layer of challenge where you have to stay in melee. You're trying to get some damage in, but you need to do things like Crusader Strike to generate holy power. It's just a whole different animal, and I really do enjoy the way that it plays. So I'm looking forward to pushing Holy Paladin really, really hard in Season 4 and trying to get over some of the problems that it has been facing, in particular, its damage problems. And we're getting the old tier set bonus back, which emphasizes Holy Prism, which is another huge reason why I want to play Holy Paladin. I didn't get to play Holy Paladin in Season 2 that much when Holy Prism was the big tier set bonus, and now I'm going to get to use it. And so I'm super excited about that, to be honest. That is a huge reason why I hate the current tier set bonus, the stupid Holy Reverberation thing. It's actually terrible. So I'm excited to have Holy Prism back as a really, really big healing cooldown and using it as much as I can to try and keep people alive. I'm very excited about that. So those are some of the initial reasons why I'm excited about Holy Paladin. Also, the utility. I'm going to get back into this. This is really massive. In Season 4, we're getting back to all 8 of the original Dragonflight dungeons, and the utility that Holy Paladin brings for those dungeons in particular is insane. It is so incredibly strong what you can do that other healers just cannot do. Things like Blessing of Freedom. In Ruby Life Pools, for example, on the first boss of Ruby Life Pools, she does that big glacial, swirly thing that you have to go drop off as far away from the group as you can. You can Blessing of Freedom somebody and speed them up and help them get the orb really far out of the way, or you can speed them up when they're on their way back towards the group so they take less pulsing damage. That's just a nice little thing, a little optimization that I love that Holy Paladin can bring. In Neltheres, the boss that throws spears at you, I think it's Chargath, you can make people go faster so that they can move the chains into the boss more quickly so that you can get done the spear phase. You can also just make it so that people can move away from wherever the spear lands, because it does a lot of damage when it initially lands, and it creates a puddle on the ground. You can help them get away from that. Also in dungeons like Uldamon, we're going back to Uldamon. Chrono Lord Deus at the end, the very last boss in Uldamon, he puts 2 slowing debuffs on allies that also do damage over time. You can dispel one of those, and then you can freedom the second guy, and you have immediately gotten rid of that mechanic altogether. So there's a whole bunch of other examples that I don't want to bore you here, but freedom is such a huge, huge utility cooldown because it will remove any movement impairing effects, which, if there also happens to be like a damage over time component to that movement reduction, then you get to remove that as well. So I really love utility that is not obvious healing utility at first, but once you get to use it, you're like, oh my god, this is just going to completely save this guy. I'm going to completely save this guy from taking a bunch of damage. It's really, really cool. So another thing is a poison dispel in Season 4 is going to be really valuable. Dungeons like Brackenhide Hallow, Algathar Academy, the tree boss in Algathar Academy, he has a poison. Brackenhide Hallow has poisons everywhere. Halls of Infusion, the frogs, they're poisoning you as well. So having an actual poison dispel is massive in Season 4. I think the healers that have poison dispels are going to be premium, especially on things like the Afflicted Week, where your dispel is really taxed, and then you're going to need to be using your dispel on other things. So I'm really excited to have a poison dispel in Season 4 as well. There's so many uses for it in almost all the dungeons, which is really good. Blessing of Protection, your bop is really huge in Season 4. Neltheres, again, back to the spear boss. Before he throws the spears out, he puts a bleed on somebody. He charges an ally, and puts a bleed on them. You can just bop that off right away. It is really huge to be able to do that for like Shadow Priests or Hunters, which don't really have a good way of dealing with damage over time. That much damage over time. Enhancement Shamans as well. So that's a huge, being able to remove that bleed is really, really huge. Brackenhide Hallow, the first boss of Brackenhide Hallow, where the Gash Frenzy, he like jumps around and hits everybody. You can remove the bleed on somebody as well. Again, a Hunter, an Enhancement Shaman, somebody that has very little defense. You can bop them, and it will remove the bleed altogether, which is a really massive deal. So huge. Bop has so many other uses as well, but again, it's utility that no other healer can bring. It is so huge. And then I think, in my opinion, the best single target external healing cooldown in the game is Blessing of Sacrifice. It's a 1-minute cooldown with the talents that you have in the class tree, and it is so insane. You can buff it to be a 45% damage reduction, not just 30, but 45% damage reduction for its duration, and then 15% afterwards. It's completely insane. It's completely insane. You will 100% save people who should have otherwise died in a boss fight and wherever they are, you can absolutely save somebody. And on a 1-minute cooldown is just disgustingly strong. I mean, having this that no other healer has, again, is such a massive boon for my ability to push keys next season, especially in the higher keys. When you have hunters and, again, enhancement shamans, maybe shadow priests. Shadow priests have dispersion, but basically you have classes that are going to suffer on higher keys because they're just going to get one shot, and you can prevent that from happening. Really, really big deal. Other utility, of course, they have Devotion Aura, more damage reduction, a Battle Res. I love having a Battle Res as a healer. I love having that control to just be like, boom, let's get this guy up right away. And then you have Bubble to keep yourself safe. The only real problem, I think, with Holy Paladin is that their damage is a little bit lower than the other guys. And I think that's a problem you can easily solve in Season 4 with trinkets. And I have Augury in this dungeon. You can see some of the damage I've been doing has been pretty good. And again, as I've said before, and a lot of you guys like to say in the comments, you don't need damage to push keys. Even the super high keys, you don't need an incredible amount of damage. If you're keeping people alive, if you're doing your job, that's almost all you really need to do. It is nice to have extra damage, but you don't have to have it. So that's it, guys. That's my choice for Season 4. I'm going to be playing Holy Paladin. I'm going to be pushing it really hard. I'm going to get, hopefully, above 3K rating again. Try and push past 3K rating this time because I basically got a little stuck at the end of Season 3. But I'm really excited to do that, and I hope that you guys are excited to join me on this little journey. I hope you guys are interested in Holy Paladin because I'm going to be pumping out a lot of content related to it, and I'm going to be doing things on my other classes as well. You guys know me. I can't just stick to one class or one spec. There will be videos probably on Holy Priest especially, and I'll still be doing Resto Shaman the whole time in the background. But I'm going to be pushing Holy Paladin really hard right out of the gates. That's going to be my main healer. It's also my healer in Raid, so there'll be some Raid content as well for Holy Paladin. If you're interested in it at all, stick around to the channel. You'll be able to see it. But that's my choice. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, okay? Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear from all of you. Let's get a discussion going. What are you going to be playing in Season 4? What's your healer? What's your DPS? What's your go-to character that you're going to be playing? I would love to talk about it down below. Try not to flame people too hard. I know some of you guys, some people are struggling. They like to flame in the comments, but let's keep it civil down there, all right? And this is just, it's a game after all. We're just trying to have fun, play together. So let me know what you guys think. Love you all. Thank you so much again for watching. I will see you in the next one.